Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with the amazing Jenell Newell, my favorite name of all the people on the team to say. For those of you that have been listening for a while, we had Jenell for a while, and then she wasn't here, and now she's here, and she is kicking butt and taking names. She and Suzanne are our mindset, belief, result, success, whatever adjective. They'll pick up a different adjective depending on the day and who they're working with, but they are amazing at helping you guys and gals grow. So my job is to scream and yell what to do and how to do it. And believe it or not, that's the easy part, getting people to actually do it. I'm like the guy going, eat less bad food, move your body more. Like, yeah, I got it. And these are the ones that are like, here's how to actually think about it to get the results. So that's why we love Jenell and Suzanne so very much. Today, we are going to talk about a really underused muscle in a large percentage of you fine people. I'm going to try not to be sexist, but I'm going to come out and say it. You ladies probably struggle with this just a little more than the gentlemen from my experience, not, of course, unilateral. But the art of saying no, the art of setting boundaries in your life and your business, right? I find the people that maybe get bullied by their spouse or their kids or their friends or just that person that always gives, and you're such sweet. I mean, it's like such a superpower until it's turned against you, and then you say yes to everything but you guys are the ones that don't understand, and the plan like put the mask on your kid, and then once he's or on yourself, and once you're able to breathe, then you're like, that makes no sense, I don't understand, I'm going to go up and down the aisle, everyone's going to get a mask, I'm going to die of lack of oxygen. If that's you and you find that in your life and your business, you're in the right spot. Jenell, how do you see that kind of manifesting in business, and how can we help our sweet people build some of those boundaries?
Well, it's curious because, it's module 1 in our program where we talk about, maybe module 2, where we actually talk about the very first boundary, which is change your voicemail message, create working hours, and you respect it so that you're essentially saying, no, I'm not available to people. So often this is a service industry, and our clients, they have big hearts and they want to serve and they want to be the best and feel like their clients know how much they care and want great results, and they want those clients happy. And they think, or rather they translate that into mean that I also have to be available to my clients and my employees 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we do this as one of our very first things with our clients is like, let's set some working and availability hours. And it is a game changer. Like, this is the easiest, biggest thing you can wrap your head around. I'm only available to you for these hours. Oh my gosh. It's so freeing.
Let's do what we do with our clients, kind of for fun in front of our audience. Let me give the tactical, or some of the tactical things that we teach, which I think are, I don't know if they're easy, but they're simple. And then I'll let you cover the, okay, but everyone's going to clench up and go, I can't do that. And we'll let you kind of walk them how to unclench and how to move from, that's a great idea for Mike and Jenell, but they're different humans. I couldn't possibly, that won't work for me. You don't understand. My people will kill me. I would drop dead, whatever crazy beliefs that, you might have allowed. So on the tactical side, again, I hate the word setting boundaries because it sounds so frou-frou. Like, I feel like it comes from counseling. It's like you've heard it 1,000 times, but you've heard it 1,000 times because it's a big deal, right? So boundaries in business, and I'm sure all of you that struggle with this in business can look at your life and be like, oh my gosh, this is a skill that transcends, right? And you need it both personally and professionally. But from a business standpoint, just like Jenell said, limiting access. So what that could, and I'd go so far as to say should look like, is we coach our people to respond to everybody one time a day, just once, maybe for 20 or 30 minutes. So the first thing is you pick the method, right? I'm not a big cell phone fan. I don't know if Jenell has my cell phone number or not. She's welcome to it, but she wouldn't typically call me or text me unless we're live event or something. She just Slack me, which is nice because if I've got 37 different people, like, it's just, for us, Slack works best, right? And for you, it might be, God forbid, your cell phone. It could be Slack, there's lots of different ways to manage that. But I don't believe Jenell feels less supported or cared about or important because I ask her to contact me this way versus that way. She's like, do I have the tools for my job? And if so, okay. And if I don't have the tools, am I empowered to make a decision? Will you stand behind me? I'm like, of course I will. And that's because we share core values. So I know she's going to not make a decision that I find to be insane, and I can support her. So time and means, right? Like you can't just text me. And I'll give the last tactical part and we'll move it over to the mindset piece or the beliefs piece. Well, how do I do it? Because they ignore me. They won't do it, right? I told them to, we'll just say Slack because that's what we use, but y'all can email, carrier pigeon, whatever y'all want to use. We'll say Slack. I told them Slack. They keep calling me on my phone. Well, what happens when they called on the phone, you ignored it? They called me back. What happens when you ignored it again? Well, I didn't ignore it. I picked it up. Okay, well, you're training them, right? We've either all been a kid or had a kid or God willing both. And we know kids don't pay attention to what you say. They barely pay attention to what you do. What you say might as well just be words in the ether. It means nothing. So when you let the employee call 2 and 3 or 12 times and you pick up on that 12th time, you've taught them, you got to just keep calling. Jenell, when I don't pick up the 7th time and I do pick up the 8th, you got to call that 8th. That's my message to you, regardless of what I say. So one, be clear on what's going to happen. Hey, Jenell, I'm only going to respond. I'll call you back every day from 3 to 3:30, whatever the case may be. I'm going to make sure she's a core values fit. I'm going to go, why would you call me? That would be an emergent. Well, a client might be mad. Okay, what would you do in that scenario? If I wouldn't talk to you, I do X, Y, and Z. Okie dokie, then do that, right? Like, even if something's on fire, like, well, then call the fire department. One of our clients is dying. Well, then call a medic. Like, there's very few things that are physically used to own or need to handle right now. There might be some things you need to handle, but not right now. So I just have to, A, be crystal clear to the team when I'm available and through what methodology. B, I've got to follow through, right? When they try and circumvent that, I have to just ignore it. It's real hard. I get it. And that's what Jenell will help you walk through how to do that. And then C, I have to make sure they have the tools, right? I can't just be like, C is even an option, right? Because if they're like, we locked the keys in the car and left the alarm going and the cops are on their way, and they call me and I don't pick up, well, they're going to figure it out, aren't they? Right? And 9 times out of 10, if you got the right people, they're going to figure it out just the same thing that you would have come the same conclusion. So even the C of giving them what to do or just, encouraging them, I'm going to back you up, Jenell. If you don't lie, cheat, or steal, you don't violate a core value, you can make any decision you want without me. And I got your back. All right. So I think that's hopefully gives you some tools on the what to do and how to do it. But for all of you going, oh, I could never do any of those things. If my employee called 10 times, I have to pick it up. Jenell, what do you say to those kind souls that see that they need it, but they just don't feel that they're able to execute?
Well, first thing, of course, is communicating clearly what your new method is. So often we're not, as owners, as CEOs, communicating clearly, hey, this is the new way I want you to communicate with me. Right. So we have to be very clear, first of all, like, hey, I want you to Slack me and I'm going to check my Slack twice a day. I know. Right. So again, this is the way we work. And I know that that's how I'm going to reach you. I also know that if I'm going to text you, I may not hear from you because that's not our channel. So often you got to be very clear with yourself and your team. And then the next piece is, oh gosh, they're going to have a problem and you don't trust them, right? We got to take that big, deep breath because, again, when you're hiring according to core values and you have these conversations and you have your systems in place, then you have to take that big, deep breath. I love the deep breath as an interrupter because the moment that we put ourselves in our body, we take that deep breath, we shift from that subconscious fear, like, oh my gosh, we can shift into our adult brain that says, no, wait, it's not true. My people can handle this. And if it's something that I need to get involved with, then I'm going to hear about it through the right channel. So there's a little bit of like, you have to do a little pattern interrupting with yourself to get to the level of comfort. And it is uncomfortable at first for some people. right? Some people, they're like, hey, this is great. I'm going to set it up this way. And they run with it, and the team runs with it, and it's not a problem. But you're right. The boundary, and again, it is kind of, psychology speak, but that boundary, whatever that methodology that you're going to use, you are the first one that has to really commit to it, right? So if they call 9 times, it's still up to you to say, no, I'm committed to this because I have other things that are more important and best use of my time. I trust my people to make good decisions and respond. And I've told them how to interact with me, right? So you have to go through that process in your own head to stand firm even when it's uncomfortable. Right? It's a little bit like potty training a dog. No, like I'm committed. This dog is going to go potty outside, which means I have to be firmly committed to it. I have to be on guard. And if the dog wants to, pee in the kitchen, it's up to me to get that dog outside, right? So if they're calling and texting and that's not the system that you want to use, it's up to you to say, no, this is not our way. And again, no, you can say no, and it's not meant to be about the other person. It's not meant to be, that I love you less or I mean ill will to you. It's just, no, this isn't how we agreed to communicate.
Hey Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Man, I've been typing in notes as you've been talking because there's so much good stuff I want to share with the listeners and also maybe get your perspective on. So I got 3 observations and a suggestion. The first observation is it sounds like what I hear you saying, Jenell, is the first sale that you need to make isn't to your employees or your customers who are also going to think they need you right away. But again, no offense, we're in the cleaning business. There's not like if you're a neurosurgeon or a heart transplant transporter, like you need to answer your goddamn cell phone or like that's whatever you do and you drop it. Like that is right now you go. Think of the example I think I've used a couple times is one of our clients had a subway contract, public transport, and they were in the public and it was in the middle of the night and with rowdy public people, and there was a fist fight in the middle of the night, one of his employees with a citizen. Can't think of a more shocking thing that could happen. He felt terrible because no one called him or he didn't react at 2 a.m. or whatever. I'm like, what is it you would have done? Like, why would they call? Like, to what end? And then we talked him off the ledge in terms of, did you do everything? Like, did you tell him to fight the guy? Was he drunk? Did he give you was he fighting other people and you ignored it? Like, no, of course not. Like, okay, so you did the right thing. So that's the most extreme, having been coaching 10 years, I can think of what would be the owner needs to be made aware right now situation, right? And there's really nothing you can do. So the first sale you have to make to the client or the employee the first sale isn't to them, it's to you, right? I think that's the problem. We haven't bought in that we deserve the right to say no or to set boundaries or to say, like right now, no offense to my friend Jenell and to all you amazing listeners, I love my wife and kids so much more than you guys, and I love you guys and I love Jenell, but it's not even close to wife and kids, right? But if my wife or son needs something right now, they're just gonna have to wait because this is what I'm doing. And I don't feel guilty about I'm sold, right? I don't feel guilty about that because later tonight I'm going to be with my son and we're going to spend time and y'all are going to want or need something from me. And the answer is just no. And it's okay. It doesn't mean anything other than I'm going to give myself permission when I'm here. I'm fully present with you guys. And when I'm with my son, I'm fully present there. So the first sale you have to make is to yourself as a first observation. Second thing is I love that deep breath. That's one I forget to do because Jenell made a really good point. I think she pointed to her head. Like you have that it's just a raw emotion of fear. Like it's just a nameless or ickiness or just however you want to define it. It's just a raw emotion. Like you can't reason with it. It's just this. Ugh. And when you take a deep breath, you take a beat, you kind of connect with your adult brain, that I think was the word used, Jenell, that can reason with it and can go, okay, what are we doing here? Like, the reason I share the extreme example of the subway fight is people go, oh, well, I haven't had anything that, none of my people call. And you can start accessing your adult brain who goes, well, I guess if that was an emergency, there's probably not going to be an emergency tonight on my thing. That deep breath is just a beautiful reminder to connect with your body and get out of that. Because you're never going to beat fear. Like if you just have this gross, icky feeling of fear, I don't know how you beat that, right? You got to kind of take that breath, snap the emotion, but all right, we're going to think about it. So I wanted to say thank you for saying it the way I got. The third observation is when you're talking about boundaries and people being afraid of them, the reality is I think we think we're selfish, right? The types of people that don't set boundaries are always thinking about other people. So to put it in terms that you guys would understand, boundaries aren't just good for you. They are good for your clients. They're good for your employees. They're good for the company. So again, if we shift from putting the mask on myself first is selfish, we're never going to do that. But if we go, I need oxygen to help as many of my kids and maybe other people's kids if need be, I need oxygen. So I have to do that first. So if we move this boundaries to something we're being selfish with to no, really, that's the most selfless thing you can do. So as opposed to trying to talk yourself into being more selfless, I would redefine what this is and go, this is the most selfless thing I can do, right? It's easy for me to pick up the phone and put on my Superman or Superwoman cape and answer Jenell's question. It's a lot harder, more disciplined to help Jenell grow into the adult genius woman she can be and let her figure it out on her own. So those are the three observations. The first sale you got to make to you is that deep breath is a great way to break the pattern of that unnamed fear and into a thought process. Boundaries aren't just good for you or something selfish. They're good for the company. They're good for others. They're a very selfless thing that we can do. And then one little thing I wanted to give as a tip or trick, and I'm going to let Jenell close us any way she sees fit, is no seems like such a harsh word, right? So probably good that you build that muscle, but as a intermediary step, what I found can work better. Again, this goes to child rearing, which works with other humans. Instead of saying no, ask a question, which is a lot less scary for some of us people pleasers, right? So Mike, can you do this thing? Can you hold my hand and drive me to the job tomorrow as opposed to me doing it because my car is broken? No, that's tough for some people that don't set boundaries well. Man, Jenell, so sorry your car's broken. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. All right. Well, what do you think got you to this point of having a broken car? And do you think asking the owner to give you a ride is the best next step for you in your life? So instead of just saying a no, which can feel harsh, just asking some questions. And if I ask good enough questions, Jenell's got half a brain. She's probably going to maybe be able to articulate a better answer for herself without feeling like I said no. All right. I've said way too much. Jenell, what are we missing? What do you want to leave the people with? Tie a nice bow on this whole conversation any way you see fit.
You can say no. You can have systems and processes around how and when people contact you and reach you, and create those boundaries around your time that actually allows you to be serving your business at the highest level. And that's really what this is about, right? This is you answering their phone calls isn't your highest contribution to the success of the company. And so let's keep that top of mind when somebody makes a request or somebody reaches out for an answer and it's not within your parameters. It's okay to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say a shocking incendiary comment. Doesn't even make you a bad person. Imagine if you could do that and it could be okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cleaning Nation, I'll leave you with this encouragement. With most things I found in business growth, a lot of the stuff is very hard to do on your own. If you need a community, support, coaches, feel free to reach out to us. I'm Mike at growmycleaningcompany.com. Go to the website, hit us on Instagram. Lots of ways you can reach out. But if you've been struggling with the same problems over and over and over again, you want a different result, do something different, right? And if you haven't reached out to us or someone that you think can help, get some goddamn help. This is a team sport.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.